Hello again, my fellow G.O.T nerds. This is Daniel again, here with my Season 8, Episode 2 predictions, my top 5 and my least 5 to happen. After watching the preview a few times and being updated on all the books, even though they're so far behind the show right now, I just kind of have hopes in what I think will happen with it. But just how the whole first episode went through and how everything has been leading up to these last 5 episodes, I kind of feel like I have a pretty good synopsis of what I think should happen coming through. So without further ado, I should just jump right in and let you know. Gotta have your handy dandy Game of Thrones poster and the crown just in case, because you always gotta wear it on Sunday to feel like you're king in the north. I forgot to show you guys this before, but my buddy gave me this great USB, which I love the most because it just represents it so well. This is my Ghost USB, ghosting the USB, love it. But without further ado, let's jump into the top 5 right now. So how it ended, I might as well start how it ended with the whole Jamie Bran stare down. I just don't think anything bad's gonna happen to Jamie because we've seen the previews for the whole season and you've seen him already in the battlements of fighting for Winterfell. Even though Queen Daenerys was giving him plenty of slack for how he killed her father, he definitely had some good excuses as to why to kill her father. And with the whole Bran pushing out the window thing, I think he might let that slide because he knew that kind of had to happen for him to become a three-eyed raven to lead up to this whole scenario. Because without Jamie, there would be no three-eyed raven Bran right now. And without no three-eyed raven Bran right now, there would be a lot of more stuff going on. So I just feel like, yeah, they're gonna have him on trial, but I think Tyrion and Bran, and I think even Jon might stick up for him, even though Jon doesn't really have much to stick up for him for. I think he just has such a kind heart and he's very just that he will let bygones be bygones, and he knows that the living must fight the dead, all the living, not pick and choose, not the past coming back to creep up on him. He knows that the past is the past. So I think they're gonna put Jamie through a lot of heartache, but in the end they're gonna make sure that he makes it through because he is such a skilled warrior. And then I think Jon's gonna end up having to tell Daenerys that because I think Dany's gonna try to come up to Jon and be affectionate, and Jon's just not gonna be feeling it anymore. I mean, he's gonna be sad about that, but it's just not gonna be the same for him anymore. He's not that kind of guy where he's gonna hook up with his aunt. I mean, I hope he's not that kind of guy. Most of us aren't that kind of guy. Jeez, it's pretty weird to say, but in that world, I guess it's not. But yeah, I think Jon's gonna have to break the ice, ooh, pun intended, to Dany. But I don't think that's gonna work out well. I think that's probably gonna upset her, and I think that's why in that preview for the second episode, you see her giving Tyrion, Varys, and Jorah that look of disgust and bitterness, is because she wants to follow her heart, and they know she cannot because no one else will follow her if she just does what she wants, which is what she's been doing. I think she's gonna have to bite the bullet, so to speak, and do what's best for the realm and them not be together, which is gonna hurt both of them. I think Melisandre will turn back up in this episode, actually. She's gonna come back from Essos and possibly have some way to help fight the Night King. And I mean, I hope she does, because it doesn't seem at this point anyone in Westeros, let alone the North, has any sort of strategy to make this work. They're all kind of hoping that it just falls into place and the fight ends up in their side, kind of like the Battle of the Bastards. Like, they knew they were against odds, but they still won. But I don't think that's quite the same fight, so I think they're going to need an ace up their sleeve, which is Melisandre. A big one I think is going to happen, which a lot of people have guessed, is I think Jorah is going to get Heartsbane, which is pretty cool because he's a very skilled warrior, one of the best. He's fought in the fighting pits. He's a Westerosi knight. He knows just how to swing a sword. And Heartsbane comes from House Tarly, and Samwell just doesn't know how to fight. I mean, he has killed a White Walker, he has killed a Thenn, but that was pretty much on accident each time. I mean, he should have died each time, but I think he knows that a good sword belongs in a good hand. And I think Jorah will get it because he will be in the front lines fighting for Daenerys. And I think they're going to be just really trying to get everyone in the right positions to make it so. And lastly, my top 5 prediction is that I think that Winterfell will be almost ready to go against the Night King and the White Walkers, but I just don't think that they're gonna have quite the armor and the weapons to do it. I think even with Gendry making every Valyrian's sword he can and everything out of the dragon glass that he can, I just don't think it's going to be enough. I think that once they get to battle, it's just not going to be enough because he's only one blacksmith and it's not very long for them to go. But we'll see how that goes. I mean, but that leads me into my least 5 to happen because I just don't think there's going to be a battle in this one at all. From top to bottom. I mean, it's only a 60-minute or 62-minute episode. So, or, I mean, I think it's a 62-minute episode. I think it might be around 60 minutes. But that's a pretty long episode, but I just don't think it's going to be enough for a battle. I think it's going to be all prep, just like a lot of early episodes prepping they were all just always prepping, always getting ready to set up the last few episodes, which is coming up. I mean, we have 5 episodes left. After Sunday, there's 4. So I think it's going to be pretty tough for them to not get all this dialogue going through to make it work. So I think there's going to be quite a bit of talking in this one, which I don't mind. I mean, the banter in Game of Thrones is just always on point. I love it. I mean, but the fighting's always a little bit better. I mean, Battle of Blackwater is one of my favorite. The Battle of the Night's Watch was great. The Battle of the Bastards was amazing. I think just every episode that they have, just purely battle, is always just top notch. So that's where I think episode 3 is going to come through, is going to be just the pure battle of Winterfell. But they're going to hold off on that, which I think they're going to have another cliffhanger for the end of episode 2 where the Night's Watch, or not the Night's Watch, but the Night King ends up showing up to Winterfell. And that's where it's probably going to, at the end of episode 2. And so I don't think, like I said, I don't really think the White Walkers will show up till the end. That's going to be my next prediction. That's going to least likely to happen, is they're not going to show up till the end, which is disappointing. But also, they are the big threat. It is the great fight. It's great war. They have a lot going on, so they're going to be preparing a lot, and they're going to have a lot to deal with the whole Dany Jon thing. So there's plenty that they can be doing, talking about, and even in the South, in King's Landing with Cersei, even though I don't feel like it's going to do too much with Cersei, but since episode 3 is going to pretty much deal with all of Winterfell, they're going to have to sprinkle in a lot of Cersei, Bronn, Qyburn kind of stuff in there. So I feel like they're going to have at least 20-25 good minutes of King's Landing in this episode, to where they had to set up for episode 4, because episode 3 is going to be purely Winterfell. So my next one will be, I don't think anyone important is going to die in this episode again. I mean, episode 1, who died that's important? No one. Not a person really important died. I mean, maybe Hot Pie might die, but that's pretty much stretching as far as I can. But, I mean, Ned Umber died in the first episode, and that was as important as it got in that episode. But, yeah, I think it's just going to be a lot of prep. Everyone's going to be getting their weapons, getting their people in place, running, hiding, doing what they can. Varys is going to find a little room that he can go in with the women and children, because that's what he does best. But yeah, I mean, I just don't think anyone important in this episode will really bite the dust until episode 3 again. I'm really just waiting for episode 3, it feels like, but I'm really not, because episode 2, it will be amazing. It's going to be a really good episode. I love dialogue in Game of Thrones. It really takes it much further than a lot of other shows. Especially the foreshadowing. The foreshadowing that they lead up to and everything is quite impeccable. So the play on words, everything, you just gotta listen carefully, and you definitely hear what they have to say when it comes to the next couple episodes. And unfortunately, my fourth least likely to happen is that I just don't think Ghost is gonna show up again. I mean, when's the last time we saw that poor dog? Sorry, wolf. I mean, wolf dog. I'll call it that. The last time we saw that wolf dog was pretty much when Jon was being resurrected, and shoot, that was 2 seasons ago, 2 full seasons ago now, because that was episode 3 of season 6. And I just don't get why they haven't showed that guy yet. I mean, they could definitely do Ghost more justice. I mean, yeah, I get it's hard to draw in a giant wolf, but really, you did a dragon. I mean, that's not even a real freaking thing, and yet you guys are just drawing that thing in like it's a stick figure on a chalkboard. But hey, you guys are doing it. I mean, do what you want. I mean, you guys even do ice dragons now, but no Ghost, really? I miss that guy. I mean, he's gonna show back up eventually. He has to, and they said they will. The showrunners said that they definitely will, but they also said a lot of other stuff. So we'll see. We will see. And lastly, I don't think we're gonna even learn about what that spiral means yet. The White Walker spiral. That thing has confused me since episode 1, season 1. Like, what are they doing with that? Why is it so important? I know it's gonna be important. I even read something that said, I believe it was George R.R. Martin said that it's gonna be revealed why that spiral is so important in the long run. I mean, yes, the kids of the forest, children of the forest, sorry, don't want to discriminate, but the children of the forest definitely used it in some way, but I think now the Night King is using it in his own way, and he's using it to his own advantage, and he's using it as a message. Like, he really wants to let people know what he wants and what he means by this whole attack. And I think it's going to be more important than we think. I mean, George R. R. Martin even said that there's 3 very important things that happened in this whole show. One was Shireen's death, which is crazy bad. The other one was Hold the Door, which was crazy sad. And we're still waiting on one more. So I think that one's coming up pretty soon. I think it's going to happen before the last 2 episodes. So we're going to see where that goes. But I think it's going to have to do something with the Spiral and the Night King. And hopefully it's very much as good as the first 2 giveaways. But we're going to see. But yeah, I mean, let me know what you guys think in the comments of what most likely you think will happen in this episode. Because I'd very much like to know that if you have a different opinion than mine, let me know. Like the video to let me know if you like my predictions. And subscribe to hit the bell for new videos. And hope you guys have a wonderful Thursday night. And as a wise man once said, peace!